Want to know what puts out fire? Water. The government doesn't know this. Here is the largest bucket of water in the world. They don't use it. They don't need it.
Bum crap everywhere.
But let me give you one that you may not know.
Okay.
Which I think you know everything, actually, as
That's
a student of yours. but
he doesn't know this
water. You know, in Los Angeles, you can't get proper amounts of water. It's so dry. And I thought they were going through like a desert, like a drought. They said, no, we have water, but it gets... So I looked into it.
Clinton Jaws, if you guys think Donald Trump has lost his mind, this is proof that he hasn't. He actually predicted the future a couple months ago on Joe Rogan. Biden wouldn't have done this. Not too many people would have even thought about this. So he still has a census. And maybe we should start listening to him a little bit more. Because what I'm about to show you is pretty impressive. Common sense, but impressive. It's late. It's like, I don't even know. It's last night, I'm watching this. I'm watching Trump talk. He's speaking to reporters. This is what he says about the California fires. And then I'm going to show you what he said on Joe Rogan.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. Virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, you know where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job.
And then he says this on Joe Rogan 2 months ago. You know, I don't understand California. I love California. I was there last year. I'm going back there this summer, hopefully. Why are you guys? Why is California? Why do they keep on voting liberal? With your taxes? Now this? Etc., etc., etc.? I don't understand why they put up with it. And yes, I'm going to interrupt because I have to.
Bum crap everywhere.
But let me give you one that you may not know.
Okay.
Which I think you know everything, actually, as
That's
a student of yours. but
he doesn't know this
water.
one.
You know, in Los Angeles, you can't get proper amounts of water.
Right.
And it's unbelievably expensive. And you might have a house in Beverly Hills, and they're actually thinking about rationing water. Can you believe it?
I can believe
and
it.
I was in the farm court country with some of the congressmen. We're driving up a highway, and I say, how come all this land is so barren? It's farmland, and it looked terrible. It was just brown and bad. I said, but there's always that little corner that's so green and beautiful.
Where'd that come
They said,
from?
we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why don't you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north.
From Canada.
More water than they could ever use.
Finally, America might need Canada.
And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets
That's
poured.
insane.
You got to see this. We're driving up, and I had never seen it before.
Picture Biden doing this.
It's like Iowa. It's the most fertile land. Iowa's blessed with great land. Idaho for a potato, right?
Yeah.
But they're just, by the way, some land is good for a potato, some land is good for corn. It's the craziest thing. I love the farmers. They're great. They're the greatest. And by the way, they're getting killed right now.
They are.
They're getting killed because of this stupid administration.
Keep on track, Donald.
So I see this,
Thank
and
you.
I said, you got to be kidding. I said, you mean you have water? And I looked at it. It's like a valve in your sink, except it's massive. The thing's 5 times taller than your ceiling.
Did you know the center of California was a giant lake?
Oh, here we go.
They have so much water.
You ever see what it looked like before they rerouted
I never
it?
saw that.
Yeah,
The
no.
center of California, like, what is it, 200 years ago?
Edit.
How long?
But I kept saying, look at this land. It's beautiful, but it's so dry. And I thought they were going through like a desert, like a drought. They said, no, we have water, but it gets... So I looked into it.
What is the fish?
And I got it done. I could have water for all of that land, water for your forests. Your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You could have everything.
You think?
Not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, there's a case with the environment.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. When a tree falls,
It's one thing. They don't do it in Canada. They don't do it in America. They let the fire burn. Nobody's putting out fires anymore.
down. After 18 months, it becomes very dry. It's like, like real firewood. It's bad. A tree that's up, these are all things I learned the hard way, the easy way. But when a tree is up, it sucks water. It's wet. I went to they had a couple of horrible forest fires in California, and I said, you get a lot of trees standing. Yes, they were healthy trees, sir. I said, with this intense heat, that you could see they were charred a little bit on the bottom, but they were going to be all right because they're soaking wet because they suck up the water, right?
True.
But when they fall,
Right.
they're like, it's like lighting a match.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to clean. They call it maintain your forest. So I was with the head of Austria. He said, it's a shame. I see all those forest fires in California, and all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
We'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that are fallen
Yeah.
that, are like...
And that's exactly what happened in Canada. That's what happened in Jasper. They didn't clean it up. The Liberal government, they were warned. They didn't do it. Premier Danielle Smith came out, and she was actually in tears over it. All they talk about is the environment and how we have to save the environment. Are you saving it?
It was the Department of Commerce that needed the approvals, but Gavin Newsom had to sign them.
Yep.
I got it all done. Nobody could believe it. It was all done. I said, I got it. You got so much water. All you have to do is sign. And that guy didn't want to sign.
Did he not want to sign because that would be a political victory for you?
I think, no, he didn't. No, I don't think so. He used to say he's a great president and we got along. We did. We actually got along at that point. But I think somebody said you just can't continue to call him a great president. They do say that. But we had it all done. He didn't sign. And then we got on to other things. And I every time I go to California, I said, you have so much water. They don't know it.
I wanted to show you that because I think it's important. I'm going to leave you with some of the devastation that this fire has left. And at the very, very end, I'm going to show you what a premier in Canada had to say about the exact same situation.
We'll see if we can see down in there, see if right in there.
Here on the left, buildings on Marathon Road, Altadena. You can see the swimming pools, people's ordinary homes, ordinary lives. All of that completely changed, completely decimated.
That's right. You can see Air Resources pouring in here, trying to get water on this fire. They're going to start with the leading edge here, but that might have been just a recon flight. Not sure if he made a drop or not. I didn't see it. Did you see it, Lucas?
Want to know what puts out fire? Water. The government doesn't know this. Here is the largest bucket of water in the world. They don't use it. They don't need it. It's retired because of the government. It's used for one thing now, a tourist attraction, and people taking pictures of it. Meanwhile, in Jasper,
And so although those of us who experience Jasper as visitors can't imagine what it feels like to be a Jasperite right now, we share the sense of loss with all of those who live in the town, who care for it, and who have helped build it. Jasper, we will continue to stand by you.